Alright guys, this is Triptych with yet one more Fleet Ops audio commentary today. I like how we've actually reached the point where we have enough 2 vs 2 maps that we can cycle maps. Nebula Stream, Star Traffic, and now Hell's Kitchen, and they all make for very different gameplay experiences. Hell's Kitchen is a much larger map and it has a lot of expansions per player, so we tend to see a lot more late game stuff and tech rushes going on here. Some people don't like it for that reason, but I think it balances out. You play some games on Star Traffic, play some games here. Now, I would like to point out each position, for example this one, has their starting moons with a rather safe dilithium. Well, for these ones it does. For these, the dilithium is a little bit exposed, but still not very much. Then they have their forward expansion out here, and then they have their rear expansion, which is an interesting thing because usually the rear expansion goes completely undefended, maybe 1 yard, but that's it. It's not worth it to devote the resources, which means if the enemy is a race that can actually afford to go raid this, then, you know, like Klingons particularly, or certain Romulan builds, they can send 3 or 4 cohorts and clean out an expansion that's undefended, while some of the other races like Federation or Dominion might have trouble doing that. It's just that the ability to put on that pressure makes it so the enemy actually has to spend money on defending their expansion or else lose it. So, getting the players... Who just joined my channel? Who are you? Somebody without a mic has joined my channel. Weird.
Sorry about that. You poked me. Did you start it?
Oh yeah, we started the game, sorry.
Okay. Sorry to disturb you.
No worries.
User left your channel.
That was Shadow to Grey, by the way. Give him a round of applause, guys. Anyway, so Martok is Martok Klingon. Convenient. Nessie is Rizner Federation. Zap is Helev Romulans. Haven't seen a Romulan in a little while now. And Mighty Master is Rizner Federation. So, let's see. I'm expecting to see, I mean with this yard all the way out here, I kind of would have expected to see it back home and then the errata yard out at the edge. He's getting his chassis level pretty slowly. I'm really expecting to see some errata yard stuff out of Nessie here. Like really expecting to see an errata yard go up here after he gets his economy up. Just because bigger map, and I mean he just got away with, his ally Martok got away with an errata yard on a smaller map. So it's a bigger map, you might want to try it. But maybe he will go more of a standard, because it was Martok who was doing that weird stuff last time. And there's the battle yard, by the way. Over at the expansion, you know that because you see no field yard expansion. He's getting his miners, and we'll see he's already saying, I don't need to build any more tech structures in my base, so he's going to try to double expand. And I don't know, he might have to delay building a combat ship in order to get all of his miners and storage docks, or maybe only build one. We'll see if he does that, or if he tries to get some combat. This also depends very much on his scouting of his enemy, who is getting Riens. Okay, so Zap's going straight into Riens, which is something we don't see very often, but it is a very effective Klingon counter. In fact, it's more effective against Klingons than it is against most races, that's for sure. The Klingons specifically struggle with countering long range. They have the Burrell, which counters long range, however the Rien also counters the Burrell when it activates its phase plates. So you get this weird setup where the Burrell will kick the Rien's butt, except for when the phase plates are active. Well, when the phase plates aren't active, the Rien won't fight. So the Rien will basically enter the battle, the Burrells will be like screwed while phase plates are active and they'll try to run away, and then the Rien can try to just cloak out and then let his energy recharge, which gives the Burrells a chance to counterattack. Or if the Rien stays in the fight long enough, then the Burrells start to slaughter them once phase plates expires. So it's really back and forth, and the Riens are trying to hit and run and get their energy up again, while the Burrells are trying to do economic damage. But with battle yards and almost anything else, like, you know, Sang spam is a very, very powerful strategy, as we saw earlier, that Martok favors the player, not the avatar. But the Riens will counter Sang spam. So, just seeing, I'm expecting a second, we don't see a second Star Yard, which is unusual for a Rien spam start, although through the sheer amount of spending on his economy, he really can't do much more. Did he attack with his Talon? He did. Wow. Maybe that was selected by accident. Yeah, so he tried a little econ damage, but it's not going to work. Rien's, their overall damage output is just not that high, and Klingon miners are very tough. So he's also lost his Romulan entering combat damage bonus. As you know, whenever Romulans enter combat, their first couple weapon reloads take less time, and after they've fired for a little while, their weapons start to reload a lot slower. And then they have to be out of combat, I think it's 15 seconds, but it might be longer, before they get that bonus back. And so it's very important to Romulans to try to get a gap in the fighting, especially in these earlier stages. Like you can see, they can kill the Fed miners, but they couldn't kill a Klingon miner unless you attacked with several of them, and they all had their bonus ready. Like if they're missing their bonus, they might enter the exact same fight but not be able to win it. And there's the second Star Yard. I was a little curious as to whether it would be a Warbird Yard, but in Triptych's mod, Helev gets cheaper Warbird Yards than in stock, and since this is a 3.27 game, his Warbird Yard would be way too expensive, and honestly none of the Warbirds would be worth it. So now we see these Riens. I don't think they had their bonus back, and as you can see, they're not going to kill it. They can get pretty freaking close. Actually, now that its engines have died, they can attack it from here and stay out of starbase range because it's long range and they're long range, and all they have to kill is this freighter. So they do get a kill there, and this Intrepid is attacking them, but they're not too worried about that. They can just cloak out. See, this one Rien has damaged shields, but he might rather just go attack an undefended place and be like, you know what, that Rien can deal with it. He'll recover his shields. We see multiple Kadouj. I wasn't surprised about the first one, but I am surprised to see more. I wonder if he's going to try to get Polaron Torpedo, or Ion, what is it, Polaron Field, I guess? But that's a field research. Okay, he wants that just to get the sensor stations to detect this cloak. And that is one thing I did in Triptych's mod. Instead of having you have to get the field research to get your sensor stations and heavy weapons platform, in Triptych's mod I made it so that either the field research or the armory is required, and either one will unlock it. So you don't get into the situation where you have to build it. Even though you don't have small ships, you have to build it just to deal with this. So these all popped into Katingas, which I don't know if that was the best choice, because these Riens are totally going to clean them up. Although a very unlucky engine hit here on this Rien. That is terrible. He needs to... he could cloak it, but he should have like phase plated that or something. So that's very unfortunate. Lucky break from Martok to actually get a Rien at the stage. So here's some Monsoons from Starmaster Prodigy, and I'm expecting he's gone for the deep expansion, hoping that just doesn't even get noticed. And he is pouring money into his economy, even though he's still building Rissner Monsoons, which I really don't like Rissner Monsoons. They only have 18 defense. Mason has 21 defense on his Monsoons, which is so much better. But as you can see, Zap has cleaned out that expansion. And really, I don't think taken much damage on the other end. We saw that Kadouj earlier, but I think it went home. Or did it? Nope, there they are. So they're going to engage there. Going for the miner in the yard, changing their minds. Stock Fakarus, stock Romulan miners are terribly, terribly weak. And he does have a special active, which doesn't take much energy. All it really does is make it immune to disabling effects and give it a small damage buff. So you can kill this one. He might even kill this one. These Romulan miners are so weak in stock. I made them slightly stronger in my version. And it's a feature of Hell's Kitchen that any fleet that raids one of these mining bases can immediately go raid the other one. So these Riens cleaning up this expansion. Now the economic damage is starting to build up. We do see a Starfleet command for Nessie. So he's going to be able to augment his Intrepid fleet. And he has Ocarus, so he paid for chassis level 2. So not teching in any specific direction, just sort of gradually teching up. You see Martok going for the sneaky expansion. I always forget to scout these when I play this map, so I can totally understand getting it. I don't know what these multiple platforms are. Maybe it's because he's not planning to upgrade any of them, and by having a whole bunch of unupgraded platforms, he can just upgrade whichever one the enemy doesn't shoot at. This scout is in a perfect position to spot these monsoons coming in, and so even though the Intrepids are better, the monsoons are just, they just have the numbers, and so they can continue to chase this one. And you see, because there aren't enough other ships on Nessie's side to kill the monsoons or chase them off, the monsoons can just ignore these ships and chase after whatever they want to kill. Oh, this one got, unfortunately, his allied repair, or his repair command told it to go around this blocking trigger instead of back here. That was very unfortunate. But you see, you understand the value of having the ability to push off an enemy. If you can kill off an enemy ship, then you have so much more control. Like, for example, these ships, if they'd really wanted to, they could have turned around and killed that Intrepid, because whoever has control over the battlefield tends to get a whole lot more kills. They can afford to chase the enemy. A big part of that comes into play with spheres, because a sphere, you know, if it has the ability to chase an enemy down, it will get so many more kills than if it doesn't. If it's in danger of dying, it can't chase, it has to run away, which means every time an enemy it's firing at starts to get to low health, the enemy can just peel that guy off and have it go somewhere else, and your sphere will never get any kills. So now I'm wondering, Zap is content to just get crazy numbers of Riens. He isn't going for a refit, which is curious because just before this game in TeamSpeak we were talking about the value of Disruptor Riens and how in theory they can be crazy overpowered. However, over time the developers have made them more and more expensive to the point that now they just cost so much that you could say they're not overpowered. And in Triptych's mod I made them slightly cheaper, but only if they're built, not if they're refitted, which is important because a big part of the nastiest Disruptor Rien strategies involve getting large numbers of Riens and then upgrading them to Disruptor Riens all at once after they have some rank ups. And it's incredible how fast you can do it, especially even if you have like an ally who just gives you like 500 die, 500 try. You can upgrade 5 or 6 Riens all at once for, you know, a bit over 1,000. And then it has that one specific thing that is overpowering in this game, which is high-speed, long-range ships that can fire backwards. Once you have that, there's nothing the enemy can do, because you can always go faster than them. So if they run away, you can chase them. If they chase you, you can run away. And if you micro carefully, you can always keep them in that band where you can fire at them and they can't fire at you. And that's what also makes the Diamond so deadly, is the Diamond is no threat at all when it's sitting there firing. The reason Diamonds are scary is because they run away. The moment you see them, they run away, and they fire backwards the whole time. And it's really hard to catch them. So here we see a Katinga snipe with some declipping Riens. All these Riens being in different locations is great for raiding, but now Martok knows that he's safe. He can decloak here and kill a bunch of stuff with his Caduge. And he did get the second special, which means he has an armory, and when he's able to save up some more Tritanium, he may get the third special, which the Polaron field will start disabling subsystems. And it's a bit similar to the Griffin special in that there's a chance to disable, so when there's not that many of them, it's not too effective, especially against this many ships. But if you have 5 Caduge using Polaron field all at once, it's going to be havoc. The number of subsystem disables on these ships is going to be really high. Which might be why Zap is sticking with the regular Riens, because they're less vulnerable than the Disruptor Riens. Because the Disruptor Riens, each one that dies is a huge deal, and so you need to keep them alive. And so subsystem disables are more deadly. It looks like because of the way he stalled his economy, he really was planning to build Disruptor Riens soon. But since he just lost his constructor, he's going to have to choose between building his, I think it's upgrade facility here or traveling back to his home. However, I did just see an economy jump. Okay, so he did start building again. Let's see, who else is fighting? Oh yeah, these Riens are just cleaning this out. You'll notice with these pulse weapons, they're terrible at killing structures. They really can't do it. But they can kill all the miners. Get some lovely rank ups. Man, if he hadn't taken this economy knockout, Zap would have had way too much excess. Like, just building Riens out of 2 bases wouldn't be enough to use up all his resources mining out of 3 bases. Oh, and there's the cancel on the upgrade facility. That hurts. He's going to have to build another constructor out of his star yard. Or star base. I was wondering if that would happen. You all heard it. You were there. So yeah, now the Caduce are back here, and once they kill this, they're going to come kill this too. Because it's honestly not worth it for these Caduce to fly all the way home right now. It would take so long for them to get back. It's better, honestly, it might be good for these guys to all just huddle near the starbase. Maybe even upgrade starbase damage. And just sit there quietly. Wait for this storm to pass, because these Caduce are getting such great kills, and when these guys get kills, they give supply back. Oh, that's right, and they even drain damage when they get high ranks. You don't see that very often. If you're not careful going against these, like Riens, whichever Rien his fleet is firing at won't be able to use phase plates because its energy will get drained too fast. Was that per volley? Yeah. So if you do that, it doesn't matter if you use phase plates on all the other Riens, because the one that you care about is the one that's getting shot at. Okay, here we see a ton of Starmaster Prodigy's Monsoons just killing everything they can. And this is, I love this type of fleet, even though you can be in a bit of danger because it's very difficult to keep individual Monsoons from dying. However, it is high damage and high mobility, which means you can chase stuff down and nothing gets away from a Monsoon swarm. Nothing. They have 140 speed, and they strike like lightning. Like, once they catch you, once they set their sights on you... Hello. I think that was an Avalon. I haven't been scouting this properly. Okay, so there are Avalons in production. I'm pretty sure Starmaster killed one, or maybe that's the only one left, but... Yeah, the thing about Monsoons... There's so many Monsoons. And this is really surprising to see this with Risner Monsoons, because Mason Monsoons would have so much more hit points. But, like, with these Monsoons, you know, even if Nessie scouted this position down here, he couldn't kill it. Because the Monsoons would come kill him. The Monsoons would get him while he was retreating. And they're just so fast. Nothing can catch them. They can get away from any enemy fleet. Nothing can escape from them. If they don't want you to escape, they can chase you. And their resistance to long range makes them strong against most turrets. Like the phaser platform isn't going to do much to the Monsoon, so even going near your yard isn't that big of a defense, and even your starbase won't hold them off. So Monsoon Swarm is very deadly. Another strategy that feels similar is S2 Swarm. Very nasty. S2 Swarm does a lot more damage, but Monsoon has more hit points, so it's a bit scarier. You can do Rien Swarm. It's scary, but not on the same level, because the actual damage output stats of these are significantly lower, and unlike the others, they're not effective against large targets, because they're pulse-based. So honestly, Monsoons and S2s have that very unique setup. You can sort of get something going similar with Klingons, Burrells, and Cavorts, although, once again, their defense will be kind of low. Like, okay, Cavort Swarm can be pretty good. However, the Cavort Swarm is also significantly more expensive. And because it has that forward firing only, which is another thing the Monsoons do not have, the forward firing only with short range makes it very hard for Cavorts to apply their damage. Oh man, it's tempting to update this turret. Oh no, he doesn't have the resource to upgrade this turret. Okay, so Zap is going to lose his expansion with the repair yard. He's already lost this expansion. And in fact, his economy is trashed right now. He built a new constructor, and he might be about to build an upgrade facility, but he has the Riens, and they're very nice, but he can't build new stuff. And here we see the monsoons again, just ripping through stuff. Oh man, Nessie did buy supply again for all those Avalons, and now he's going to lose more Warpins. More supply is going to go away. You see, Star Master Prodigy is trying to micro out some of his monsoons when they take damage to escape, but it just isn't working out. He's still losing a fair number of monsoons. And as a result, it's kind of tricky to figure out who's winning here. I do think Star Master Prodigy is coming out ahead a bit. But if so, it isn't very much. Let's see. Certainly, oh, okay, here come the Riens. Now it's over for the top team. This is bad. They really, really don't want these Riens to be shot at by that phaser platform. You really want the monsoons to park next to that so they can tank for the Riens. But, yeah, everything's going to die. You know, like I mentioned, there's no strategy as powerful as 2-on-1 in this game. And you don't even want to shoot at that guy in the yard. There we go. But as I was mentioning, the key advantage of certain ships and strategies is the fact that they can get home and repair, and you can't kill them. But the monsoons just completely override that because their damage output is so high. Here we go. Now all these Riens need to pop phase plates right away. There's the Polaron fields. Large numbers of Polaron fields. I don't know how effective they'll be because there's so many enemy ships. Oh, there's a beautiful, beautiful Caduge. I hope Allied Repair is here. Okay, there it goes. Oh man, if this had happened, if these Klingon ships had come in earlier when the Federation fleet was still alive, I think they would have stood a chance. But I really don't know if they do now. You see all the Riens have their faceplates on now. And there's still plenty of stuff dying. The top team is getting some stuff in the repair yard, which is very good for them. Every moment these bottom team guys spend firing on something in the repair yard is wasted. But, oh man, it's going to be so hard to get stuff into that repair yard. And the Polaron fields have worn out. The faceplates are still going. There are not very many Riens left here. They're almost entirely dead. But there's also hardly anything alive for the top team. Surprisingly, this Warpin that just came in is really helping out. With this Galaxy dealing extra damage to long range. But just look at how fast it dies. It takes extra damage from short. And now they need to get out somehow. The top team needs to leave. I think this veteran Caduge needs to cloak and run. Because nothing's going to survive. I think the bottom team have definitely taken this. It is true that Zap has lost almost everything he owned. But so has Martok, and Nessie is going to keep on losing. These Avalons are dead. There's nothing they can do. They can't get out. They can deal damage to the monsoons, but it's half damage. And Star Master Prodigy running away. I am not expecting this. I did not I mean, I guess he has a lot of guys he can repair and come back, and he can just do this again, is what he's thinking. But in the face of that phaser platform and 2 Avalons that deal half damage, he really doesn't need... Like, he's doing fine. Of course, he could be just going for more reinforcements. He also is the only player left in this game to be running off of 3.5 expansions. So right now, with 1, 2, 3... Okay, so these guys are going again. Martok almost has it, but Star Master Prodigy clearly has more income than anybody else. He can't keep up with it building out of 6 yards. It would be easy for him to build a Starfleet Command at this point. He could build Starfleet Command and just send Warpins to random back expansions like here. And not, or like here. That would be a great place to send a Warpin. Like he's mining from this spot in the middle so brazenly. He's like, because you know what? If you guys come attack this, my monsoons will get there and they will kill you. And this is a super weapon fleet. This is the kind of fleet that cannot be killed by anything that the other team has. Wow. He's even platforming his allies expansion. How nice. Like Zap's in bad shape. I wonder if he got the refit. Refit tech. He got the upgrade facility. He still has to buy the refit tech and then refit his individual Riens. And I don't know for sure. Wow, there's the Proctor Torque. I don't know for sure if it wouldn't be better for him, for Zap, to get the refits, or if it's better to stick with the unrefitted Riens. I would get the refits just for fun. But man, look at that. All those Caduce just go down. There is a Monsoon that died. I think that's a second, maybe a third Monsoon will die, but now they're just killing the repair yard. And like I say, these two Avalons are going to die. There's no way around that. Let's see. Okay, there's some Disruptor Rien raiding. And now, yeah, everything on the top team dies. If he's lucky, this Caduce might escape. Maybe. Escape to keep on draining energy and throw down Polaron fields. And I mean, they were killing, kudos to these guys, they were killing Monsoons that whole time. But there's just so many Monsoons. That might be more than a whole selection group. And even this yard, like this Avalon will get in repair. And this Avalon is very important right now because it has all the fighters. All the fighters of the other Avalon that died have transferred to this Avalon. And it has plenty of them. But you see, they're not attacking. You have to give an attack order now in order for these to fight, and he's giving it repeated repair orders, not realizing that they're attacking that. He needs to give the attack order. There we go. Now his fighters can start attacking. There we go, there we go. Have these Warpins fight while the Avalon retreats. This Avalon needs to run still. These Disruptor Riens, little pulse platform, not even worried about it. Their damage is just fine. And that was another Avalon. So now, he doesn't even have a yard. There is no construction yard left for Nessie. And which is sad because he does have some resources. He can upgrade his starbase, which he does. He starts to fire on some Monsoons, which take half damage from his starbase. He doesn't even have a way to repair this. There's nowhere these ships can go. He lost his Avalon, and now all the fighters are going to explode, I think. They might just go without a host. Where are these fighters attached to? I don't know why the fighters are still fighting. But they have no host, so he will not be able to move out with those fighters. And even the Disruptor Riens are shooting at this poor starbase. It has 410 defense, but he's supply blocked from losing all those Warpins. And the fighters are still killing stuff. I wonder if he's able to select these and give them orders. The firepower from this starbase is just spread out over so many ships. I bet the natural regeneration of these Monsoons is almost preparing for it. I mean, there's a veteran Monsoon with its 40 defense. Surprisingly, these fighters are really going to town. They've killed 3 or 4 Monsoons now. But I mean, now it's going to be 2-on-1. Wow, okay, this is really surprising, guys. The damage on these Monsoons is not actually that high against the station. Makes me wonder how he was able to kill those other ships so fast. But yeah, the important factor here is these Monsoons are never going to stop. Here's a Vorcha doing very nicely, going to kill a Monsoon. Taking half damage, but you're going to, yeah, you got to run, dude. You got a cloak. Oh, huh. There's a pinging scout, or there could be, at a moment's notice. There's the Polaron field, getting some disabled. Gotta run, gotta go repair. There's the decloak. And the upgrade. And it's running. And the Monsoons are faster than the other ships, so the moment it pings, they're gonna kill this Vorcha. Dead Vorcha. And the beautiful veteran Caduce with 55 defense. and 787 energy. Oh my goodness. He popped his special. He replaced weapons. His shields are disabled. They could board him. They're killing off the battle yards. They're turning to kill the Kaduj. I really want this thing to live, but it's not going to. Here's another Vorcha. These Vorchas, man, they are being effective, but it's just too late. He didn't realize just how bad it was on the other side of the map with these monsoons. Plus, I gotta mention, these things probably have upgrades out the wazoo. They're probably a double attack, double defense, probably even double sensor too. And so, that was... Mighty Master's been complaining that he hasn't been able to get a single win today, or this weekend, so there's his overwhelming victory. I hope you're happy with it, dude. I'll try to get this video up. This is Triptych signing out.